Welcome to RGV On the Rise, a limited series podcast about the economy and opportunities of Hidalgo County, the Rio Grande Valley, and South Texas. Please say hello to today's guest.
Welcome, Joaquin Spammer, President of Commodities Integrated Logistics and a driving force behind an unprecedented regional marketing initiative called RioPlex. Joaquin, can you tell us a little bit about RioPlex?
Thank you for having me, Carlos. It's a pleasure to be here in your studio. RioPlex is a marketing tool that we are creating to better promote the region. It started with the Prosperity Task Force. Let me go back a little bit. That Prosperity Task Force is an initiative that Josh Cortez initiated about a year ago with a purpose or with the objective of better the lives of all the citizens in the Rio Grande Valley. So back then, the Josh was looking for a group of businessmen, CEOs, to put together a private initiative to better sell the region. And that's why we came up with RioPlex.
Now, I know you've been on several trade missions around the world looking for investment in South Texas. What has been the common reaction to these trade missions with foreign leaders?
They love the place. We have the best place to do business in North America. But the difficult part is to explain who we are. So we have been in China, in South Korea. Some other guys have been in Japan and North Europe. And once we are able to convey the information of who we are, they find the region extremely attractive. The problem is describing the region. Because when you go and try to sell only a city, let's say McAllen, Bronzeville, the Port of Bronzeville, or let's call it Reynosa or Matamoros, by themselves, they are not large enough. But so every time we went, it will take us some time to explain them what the relationship between Northern Tamaulipas with South Texas, the trade, the cross-border, everything that is happening here. Once they understood it, they loved the idea of doing business here in this region.
So based on this experience, how has that affected your thinking about the need for a regional marketing approach?
Yeah, we were looking around the state of Texas. We saw what the people in Border Press were doing, and we thought that we needed to do the same. We needed to have a regional name that will enclose everything that we have here in the valley and Northern Tamaulipas.
So in a sense, what we're talking about is not saying Rio Grande Valley because you're including Northern Tamaulipas. And that is why you've created this new moniker, RioPlex.
That is correct. I think that I love the Rio Grande Valley. I love all the names that the Rio Grande Valley has, like One Region, One Voice, or Rio South Texas. Those are great brand names for the region, but they don't enclose the Mexican side. So we needed to come up with a name that will enclose who we are, both sides of the border, working together, solving issues for companies worldwide.
Now, you've developed some fascinating research about some top economic development organizations across Texas, among the largest cities. And I'd like to show you some of the conclusions, and maybe we can talk a little bit about it.
Please do.
Okay. Let's start with El Paso, which created BorderPlex. Now, my understanding is BorderPlex was created at a time when El Paso and Ciudad Juarez, right across the border, were having massive image problems because of cartel activity in Juarez. And BorderPlex became the net result of that. Is that correct?
That is correct. What they needed to do, this is information that we got directly from Rolando Pablos. Rolando Pablos was the CEO, the first CEO of BorderPlex, and they were trying to bring a name, a brand name that will don't hide, but that will be different than the name of El Paso and Ciudad Juarez because of all the praise that they were having at that time. That was the time where there were a lot of unfortunate killings of women in the area, and they needed to promote the region. And when they were trying to promote those names, it wasn't working. So they came up with BorderPlex. They started going all over the world, promoting the region with a different concept, and it worked. And they have had great success. And Rolando Pablos has been very instrumental in helping us creating the brand name of RioPlex.
Okay. So I just want to mention these numbers because they become more pertinent as we get into this a little bit more. So we've got an area it encompasses basically 3 states and 2 countries, Mexico, Texas, and Chihuahua.
Ciudad Juárez, sí, Chihuahua, that's correct.
Okay. 63 members of this organization. The organization has 5 employees and a budget of about $2.6 million annually.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
And what they have noted is they've attracted $1.8 billion in investment.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I love the guys. And actually, Rolando Pablo came over and he said, I wish I would have had what you guys have here.
Excellent. So let's go on to the next one. Laredo. Their economic development company has 3 counties, 73 members in their organization, 7 employees, $4.7 million in an annual budget, and $231 billion in trade, cross-border trade.
It's huge. I mean, these guys have been doing this very well for years. They have an advantage. The name is the same name on both sides of the border.
Okay.
And they have the advantage that they only have to get organized with the Mexican side and the US side, just 2 cities mainly. And so it's very easy for them to work together. Actually, the biggest advantage of Laredo is that they have learned to work together for the past 100 years.
And the net result of that is they are now the largest inland cross-border bridge.
If I'm not mistaken, they're the largest port of entry in the world.
In the world, in terms of cross-border trade.
It's inland or sealand or inland border trade. They're the largest.
That's amazing. Let's go on to the next one. San Antonio, Greater SAXT is what it's called. They encompass 8 counties, 230 members, 8 employees in their organization with an annual budget of $5.6 million. And recently have suggested they've created more than 125,000 jobs.
It's great. They worked so well together that they were able to bring Toyota to town.
Okay.
Toyota and many other companies. The net result for their economic initiative is great. I mean, I wish we were working together as they do.
And the thing of note here is 125,000 jobs. The city of McAllen, the entire population is about 150,000. So just to give you some perspective.
Yeah. We have about 750,000 in the whole valley, more or less.
In the county seat. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Dallas. The Dallas Regional Chamber makes up 13 counties, makes up this organization, 139 members, 22 employees. So they've got a big staff there, and their annual budget is $12 million. And if 125,000 jobs in San Antonio is impressive, 1.3 million jobs created by this organization is very impressive.
Yeah, they have solved everything from air freight to they have a massive warehouse space. Everybody wants to distribute out of Dallas. They did a great job. Remember Ross Perot?
Oh, yes.
He was instrumental in making it work. Everybody works together.
And perhaps of note, with regard to Dallas, we're talking about BorderPlex, we're talking about RioPlex. Dallas kind of created that Plex synonym with the Metroplex.
That is correct. Dallas has made Texas what it is today. That's what people getting organized can do.
Okay. Let's go to the biggest city in Texas, Houston, the Greater Houston Partnership. 12 counties. Their marketing effort entails 156 members, 21 employees, an annual budget of $21 million. And what they were able to do is create 53,000 jobs in a matter of 10 months.
Everybody wants to be in Houston. Actually, I was trying to open an operation in Houston a couple of years ago, and it was very difficult to find warehouse space.
Really?
I mean, the place is booming. Houston has been the hub for international industrial trade for the past 70 years.
Interesting. Now, before we go on to the Rio Grande Valley, and you conducted this research, did you have any sense of how the Rio Grande Valley might compare with these other large?
Oh, no, we didn't know. We were looking for the information at the state level. They looked for how much was the annual expenditures for each one of the economic development organizations, the ones that you have on the board, and the ones here in the valley, and we were just stunned by our findings.
Let's take a look. So it entails 4 counties, the Rio Grande Valley. If you look at all the members of the various economic development corporations of all the cities in these 4 counties, 200 members. So it's almost as great as San Antonio. Now, this one blows me away. 148 employees. The largest by comparable is Dallas with 22 employees. So roughly 5 times the number of employees.
Yeah.
And then the budget. The largest budget we had is Houston with $21 million spending annually. And the Rio Grande Valley is expending $120 million.
We are the only region in Texas that is not working together. It's unreal. And the biggest problem is that we have the talent. If you go to every one of these EDOs from Roma all the way to Bronzeville and you talk to the guys, they know what they need to do. The problem that we have is that nobody wants to work together. We are trying to change that. And it has, as you can see the numbers, this is something that needs to be fixed. We don't want for them to change their budgets. We don't want for them to give us any money. What we want is for them to organize with everybody to have better results with the same money. So just imagine if everybody, the 48 cities on the U.S. side and 70 municipalities on the Mexican side, if everybody, including, let's go a little bit farther, let's include the universities, STC, they have a great economic development department, the same with UT RGV, the same with A&M. You have the Port of Bronzeville, you have the banks. We haven't done it, but I think that all the institutions on both sides of the border should account for about 75 different organizations. And if you put all the money together, it's going to look a lot bigger than that.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
And so based on these numbers, this study, what have you concluded?
We need to work together.
Very simple.
It's as simple as that. I think what we're trying to do in RioPlex is we have a plan. And we know how to get everybody to work together. We have an idea. We're putting it on writing. We're going to be ready to launch it hopefully next week. And it makes sense. It's just saying, hey guys, we have the talent, we have the energy, we have the attitude, we have everything. The only thing we need to do is play as a team. It's like the George Cortez explains it very well. We have a mall, a shopping mall. Each one of the cities on both sides of the border is a store inside the Plaza Mall. Nobody's going to buy in your store if they don't come to the mall. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is promote in all the regions of the world our little shopping mall, our region. And why call it RioPlex? RioPlex is a brand that is going to allow each one of these cities to participate in this marketing effort. It's the brand name that is going to carry our region throughout the world. That's what we're pushing. Carlos, we had a BTA meeting last week, and we had the visit from a very important person called Ruben Garibay from Puerto Verde. And the first thing he said is, that you have the best region in the state of Texas. I wish I had everything that you have down here. You have 13 international bridges. You have 4 ocean ports. You have 7 airports. You have railroad. You have the talent. You have the workforce. You have the university. You have everything. You have hunting and fishing. And I mean, we have the best location in the state of Texas. The problem is we are not selling it correctly. We are not selling it correctly within the state of Texas, and we are not selling it correctly in Mexico, in the USA, in Europe, in Asia, everywhere else.
Now, I understand one of the problems with that lack of coordination, particularly with these foreign trade missions, is duplicating efforts when we could really be covering much more ground around the world. Is that correct?
And that is correct. We have a plan. We are basically dividing the world in territories. And what we're asking the EDOs is pick and choose a territory. Let's say, for example, I like to pick on Fred Sandoval. He's a good friend in San Benito. And let's say San Benito decides that they like Chicago. They have a budget, and they can start what sometimes it's called harvesting the territory of Chicago. No? And if they go there 3 times a year, they meet with the companies, the manufacturing associations, the economic development organizations, with the key people in industry, and they showcase RioPlex and San Benito in Chicago. 2 years down the line, they're going to have they will build relationships, long-lasting relationships, and Chicago is going to know very well the RioPlex. And that's just one city. And then you go to McAllen, and McAllen decides to take on Japan, and FAR decides to take on, let's say, South Korea, and you divide the territory as any other sales organization does. I mean, you need to divide your sales force and assign them territories.
And selling the region throughout.
And sometimes we have been asked, well, let's say that I'm going to Chicago in this example, and I'm going to meet with 50 different companies. I cannot do it by myself. So what we are organizing in RioPlex is what we call an ambassadorship program, where we certify the ambassadors to represent RioPlex. So let's say you are the director of the EDO in San Benito, and you're going to meet with 50 people, and you need help. So you're going to have a force of 150 people and businessmen that can pay their own trip. So you won't need to increase your budget because everybody's paying for their own trip. So you're going to pick and choose 10 of these ambassadors to help you in Chicago to meet your goals. So you're going to have a much better result in those business trips. I think, for example, it's something that I'm probably going too far, but last year we counted 10 business trips from the valley to different regions. Only 10. If we could do this, you could have over 100 trips a year of all these different economic development organizations on both sides of the border promoting RioPlex everywhere in the world. I think just by the numbers, we will be extremely successful.
And finally, Joaquin, despite the numerical advantages we're seeing here with all the RGV economic development corporations, there is a geographic advantage. It's the advantage and the reason RioPlex has its name because of Mexico and the ability for cross-border trade.
We're number one. Everything that is happening in between Mexico and the U.S. is happening. The biggest percentage of the trade is in between Texas and the 4 states in the northern part of Mexico. And Tamaulipas and Nuevo León, they carry the biggest weight. So we're right in the middle. We are the best location to increase your footprint in international trade. it's not me saying it. It's everybody in Austin, the guys in Houston, the guys in Dallas. They say, I wish I had everything that you have down there. Dallas doesn't have Mexico as a neighbor. Houston, they don't have it. El Paso don't have an ocean port. And you can go on with all of these comparisons. But at the end, we have the best region. We need to market it correctly, and we need to work together.
Joaquin, are there any final thoughts with regard to RioPlex?
Yes. This is a message. This is a message for every board member in every economic development organization in South Texas. Please unleash the power of your directors. You have great talent working for you, but they need to work together with the rest of the EDOs to really accomplish their goals.
Joaquin Spammer, one of the driving forces of RioPlex, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
In our next episode, did you know that the RGV played a role in the Underground Railroad and the Civil War? In this episode, we dive into the region's untold stories with the project director of CHAPS at UT-RGV, who explains how their research is shedding a new light on our past. Join us on April 16th for episode 6 of season 2 of RGV on the Rise.